the Neuralink, that and they likely will find a way to hook up AI into our brains to where some humans will be superhumans and some will be normal humans. And I think that's going to create issues. I think if you have money, you'll be able to get the Neuralink, and you will be so far more advanced than a normal human. You'll be able to think like a machine. And that's frightening to me, that not everyone will be able to have it. So that's why I don't find it real optimistic to want to go 10 years into the future. I don't want to squander the life I have today. But if I could go back in the past, and it would really just depend on where in the past you got to go. But I think if I could pick any time, I would want to pick a time that I could go make an impact, that I could, and I'm making the assumption that if I went to the past, I would have the knowledge of today. So, like if you can imagine going back to the year 2000, maybe 2008, and buy Bitcoin, and just buy like $10,000 worth, or even $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. If you bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin in 2008, you would be unbelievably wealthy today. So those are little things that you could do if you went back, because if you just went back to 2008, even at my age, you would still be alive today. So that would be one thing you could do. But there has to be like a deeper purpose in my mind. If I were to go back into the past, I would really, really try to think through like where is the best time and place to go, knowing that you know something, you could stop something wicked from happening. And I suppose like if I was German and spoke German, I could maybe go to Germany before World War II, before Hitler came into power, knowing if there was a way to stop him. Or, you know, you see there's a lot of sci-fi thrillers where people go back into the past and try to change something, and it actually makes something worse. So there's that factor too. So you would just not want to try to go back and change anything, maybe. You know, just obviously my thoughts, it's such a really big question about because I think it's easy not to think about it, because it's not reality. No pun intended. But it's not reality, and so we really don't think about it. If we have a fleeting thought about it, it's really just a fleeting thought. But if you ask yourself, if you could go back in the past, where would you want to go? Your mind will start giving you all these different options. At least my mind does. And like I see all these different things. Like there's so many people in history I would love to talk to. And also so many events I would like to try to change. But then if you change history, you don't know. Just like if you killed Hitler when he was a baby, maybe somebody worse than him would come to power, and maybe he would have been successful where Hitler failed, you know. So you just don't know what would happen. Like I was talking to my mom the other night and asking her what did she think life would be like if her and my dad didn't get divorced. Because like Labor Day was Monday, today is Wednesday, so just 2 days ago was a holiday here in America, which was Labor Day. And in the past, when we were a family, like little kids, when my mom and dad were still married, we would like go to grandparents' house or something to situations where this Labor Day, I went out and rode my bike by myself. You know, it just, when a family falls apart, it's crazy. But I asked her, I said, do you think my brother Caleb would still be alive? And she said yes, that she thinks if her and my dad didn't get divorced, that my brother would still be alive. I thought that was interesting, but it's so crazy to think that then if he was alive, maybe I would be dead. Or I did tell her this, that I do think that if her and my dad would have stayed married, I think I probably would have had kids by now. Because when my mom and dad got divorced, my mom ended up getting with another guy and got pregnant and had a kid, and so she was having a kid like at about the time I should have been like 18 or 19, at least should have been thinking about having a kid. Maybe not have a kid at 18 or 19, but maybe if I wasn't helping to raise a little sister, maybe I would have wanted a kid of my own, you know. I don't know, it's kind of strange, but it was a weird conversation, but ultimately it involved changing events of history. And every action we do has a reaction. And we're just here. We're just where we are, and we're where we are because of everything that has happened. So if anything changed, you know, maybe you or I wouldn't be here even. Just small things could have changed. So it's just so interesting to think. But so now you have to imagine trying to go back in history and not changing anything, not letting anything change, but just kind of living on the fringes, knowing what you know is just kind of like a covert agent. Financially, you know all the right stocks, you know, if you could buy Amazon when it's just opening, or Tesla, Apple computers, I mean, all the things that you could do if you knew all the events of history that had ever happened, and knew that they were going to continue to be the same, that history wasn't going to change because you were back there, as long as you didn't do anything to change it. That would be the best way, I think, to navigate life, because you would be a genius, because you would know. But then there would be no spontaneity, I suppose, in life. You wouldn't get to experience like the anticipation, even like movies that were coming out, you've already seen them, you know. I don't know. It's really an interesting thought. So that question was the first question. Now, let's get on to the second question. The second question is, would you rather have the ability to talk to animals, or would you rather have the ability to talk to plants? Once again, not even a difficult choice for me. I think you guys all know I would choose animals. Can you imagine being able to communicate with animals in more ways than we already do, which is like just through maybe eye contact or petting them, but to actually know their thoughts and what they're thinking, and to be able to try to help them. It's like, for me, one of the hardest things about having a dog is that they're just so amazingly sweet, and like they're cuddly, like they want to rub up against you, and they want to lay beside you, and they like roll over on their back and want you to pet their belly. It's because it makes them feel good, and they give you love back. You know, they snuggle and they like lick you and things like that, where they're showing you their love. But if you could actually talk to them and hear them say, you know, Daddy, I love you, or you know, tell them they get to tell you what they want. But when they are sick, the is like the saddest thing about life. It just, it's one of the things that makes it hard for me to believe in a creator, because so many things about nature are so cruel, and that's one of them. It's just, the heartache, the pain that I go through when my dogs are not well. It's unbelievable. It's just excruciating. So that would be amazing to be able to let them tell me what's wrong with them. I hope to never have to live through it again. Right now my dogs have been really healthy. Max is so old, but the guy is just kicking along. You know, and like there'll be sometimes that I think to myself, I really need to do this. It's time. I need to make that call and get it scheduled, because I know he's in pain. But then, like, I think to myself, okay, I'll call tomorrow. Like imagine I was having that thought tonight about Max. Then I would say, okay, I'll call in the morning. And then, like, morning comes and the dude runs over and scarfs down his food and just acts all playful or something. And it's like, damn, I'm not going to put him down now. He looks like he's a champ. So, I don't know. I'm just going to feel blessed every day I have him. And just hope my two girls are super healthy for a long time, too. So far, so good. They're all doing really well. So, yeah, I would love to talk to animals. And they're really not just dogs, but, you know, my horse, too. He's such an interesting being. Just a massive, majestic animal. And I would love to know what he's thinking. And I think I would like the ability to communicate to, like, you know, coyotes and things, and just say, hey, you know, you don't have to be so cruel. Or like with deer, like tell them, like, here's what you do when you get to a road. Do not, if you see lights coming, if you see you know, they cross highways just because they get so freaked out. And it's like, I would like to be able to teach them that you just don't do this. And like, whenever I drive by like a dead deer on the side of the road that I know it's been hit, or even a squirrel or a bird. I saw a red-tailed hawk the other day, and I just know that bird is so beautiful, and it was on the road, and it looked like it was maybe just a few hours old there, and I just thought it was just so sad, because it's such a beautiful creature. And mankind and our madness and our need to get everywhere we're going faster and faster, and you know, it's all about us. It's all about humans and what we need, and it's just by kill. It's like when we go fishing and we use these big giant fishing nets, and then we pull up the fish we want out of the ocean, but we also pull up like sea turtles and octopus and things like that, and that's just called bykill. You know, it's just, we know it's gonna happen and we just accept it, you know. It's just really, 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 life is, I mean, even though we have all these things like electricity and cars and jets and rockets and cell phones and internet and all the technology we have, we still cannot get rid of the brutality of life. You know, it's just so hard. It's like so many, the madness, and even like, if you can imagine, it wasn't even humans on the earth. Imagine there's no humans on this earth. Bears would still be killing creatures, and lions and tigers would be killing creatures. Alligators would be killing creatures. You know, fish would be eating each other. It's just, you know, it's just wicked. Rabbits would be getting killed by coyotes. It's like all the just constant brutality of Mother Nature. It's just survival. It's just so hard. I just don't understand. That's what I don't understand about creation. Why on earth, if you could do anything, you had the power to create something magnificent with no pain, so cruel, and survival is not so difficult. And then all the temptations that we have, and it's like, why did you make us to lust and crave? I don't know. And then we have to eat. If we don't eat, we'll die. If we don't drink, we'll die. And then if you do eat and drink, it makes you have to, urinate and defecate. It's just part of the body, and it's like what we have to do. And it's like, God, it's just so, the human condition, life in general, it is a challenge. It is a struggle. It is an everyday battle to survive. And today's survival is just a different type of survival. Making sure you have enough money to buy the internet, buy your car insurance, buy your health insurance, put money in your 401k, pay for your electricity bill, pay for your car payment, pay for your rent or your house payment, pay your property taxes, do your taxes. All the things that we have to do that are just somewhat unnatural, instead of just loving each other and laying under the stars, or picking an apple and just sitting under its shade and eating it. I think